Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Hard Count podcast. And today we're going to be going over my Week 7 waiver wire pickups. We just finished up a very exciting Week 6 of NFL football. We had some studs, we had some injuries, but that all led to guys you need to be picking up on your fantasy rosters for this coming week. I've got 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers, a tight end pickup of the week, and a QB stream of the week for you guys today. So let's get right into it with my first running back, and that is Boston Scott of the Philadelphia Eagles. And we saw Miles Sanders having a knee injury as he exited in the third quarter of that game against the Baltimore Ravens, where they almost came back. Scott took over as their primary back for them. He didn't do too much in that game, but Philadelphia was in a comeback mode. They were having to pass the ball downfield quite a bit. When they were inside the 10-yard line, he did receive 2 carries, got a target in the end zone as well. So that was valuable production for Boston Scott. Sanders is going to miss Week 7's Thursday night game against the Giants. We got that news earlier. It has been confirmed. And he might even miss further than that. We're not totally sure. But certainly he's missing Thursday, which means that Boston Scott is going to be the lead back in Philadelphia for at least the coming week. And we saw Week 1 when Sanders wasn't active because of a hamstring injury in the third quarter of the game. Scott got the majority of the carries, 9, caught both of his targets. And Corey Clement did have a similar workload in terms of carries, targets. Corey Clement is a guy you might want to target in deeper leagues, but Boston Scott is definitely the primary back as he outgained Corey Clement in that game as well. So right now, Scott is going to be Philadelphia's lead back for at least this week. In the future, he's going to have some flex value, especially in PPR leagues, because he is a receiving back. He likes to get involved in the passing game, especially with Philadelphia's depleted weapons on offense. All right, my next running back, we're going to the AFC. Running back for the Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Jackson. In the Chargers' last outing, they had a bye week this past week. Justin Jackson had 20 touches against the Saints in Week 5 while he split the workload with Joshua Kelly. We thought Joshua Kelly was going to be the lead back, but it actually ended up going to Justin Jackson after Austin Eckler went down with a hamstring injury. But, despite his very good performance and him out-touching Kelly being the clear lead back in that game, Jackson still only owned in about 50% of Yahoo leagues. He needs to be picked up in more than that. And I think Jackson is going to be the back for this week and weeks to come. He's a great guy you want to pick up as an RB2 or a flex play. And in the next couple weeks, we see a very, very favorable schedule against the Jaguars, the Broncos, the Raiders, the Dolphins, and the Jets. So that could definitely elevate him even higher. He's definitely a guy you want to be playing in that RB2 or flex spot against the easy schedules with a good amount of touches as well. I like the Chargers to be up in those games, so it's going to be a favorable game script for Justin Jackson. So I love Justin Jackson as a pickup during these bye weeks. You can play him as a RB2 or flex, as I've mentioned before. He's definitely going to get some solid production in that Chargers offense that has been soaring right now with Justin Herbert. All right, next we've got another running back from the Baltimore Ravens, Gus Edwards, and this is more of a deeper league pickup in Gus Edwards, Gus the Bus. Baltimore this season, a lot of fantasy owners have been frustrated with because they've never really had a lead back. Running back by committee is what they have stuck to all year. They've got pretty even carries throughout the entire backfield. And, as I said, Edwards is a little bit more of a risky bench stash. Mark Ingram went down, and Edwards led the team in carries in Week 6 after he was splitting time with J.K. Dobbins in the second half. As I said, Ingram got injured in that game with an ankle injury, and we've seen Ingram get injured in the past as well, so that's definitely something that we could see in the future from Mark Ingram. He's getting old, going to be a little more fragile. And, Edwards had a better day than Dobbins. Both of them struggled on the ground, but Edwards was able to cash in for a 7-yard touchdown in the first quarter. So this week we see Baltimore have a bye. It's possible Ingram will be back in Week 8. Nothing will change for that Baltimore backfield, but it seems clear right now that Gus Edwards is a guy that you want to add on your roster if you're in a deeper league. He's a good handcuff to Ingram, who seems relatively injury-prone at the moment. If he's out of the lineup, Edwards looks like he's going to be the go-to guy in Baltimore. Greg Roman said that he is their closer, for their offense. Again, this is a deeper league pickup. I would not spend too much of your free agency bid on this guy, but a guy to consider as he seems to be getting more and more involved in this Ravens offense that loves to run the ball. And you have a guy in Mark Ingram who's the leader of this backfield, who's consistently getting injured, and I think his injury risk is only going to go up. All right, next, our final running back for the Washington football team, J.D. McKissic. And in 3 straight games, we've seen J.D. McKissic get 6 catches and 40 yards at least, which is great. McKissic right now, he is really carving out a role in that Washington offense. I mean, I thought that we were going to be seeing Antonio Gibson all day in this offense. I told you guys to start him several times. J.D. McKissic is really building himself a role in this offense. It's not a great offense, but he's one of Kyle Allen's favorite targets to go to. And we're going to be getting into these weeks where your running backs that are relevant are going to be on bye. You're going to need guys to replace him. So this is another deeper league guy, J.D. McKissic, that you might want to pick up. He's been a running back and a wide receiver in his career. He loves to get involved in that passing game, and Washington loves to involve him in that passing game. He's definitely a great pickup, especially if you're in PPR leagues. He's much more valuable in those as he loves to catch the ball. Again, Washington loves involving him in that passing game. So yeah, J.D. McKissic is a great pickup with those bye weeks coming up, and especially in PPR leagues as well. All right, those are my 4 running backs. Now let's move on to my 4 wide receiver pickups for this week. First is none other than the man himself, Travis Fulgham of the Philadelphia Eagles. Fulgham, he's put up a touchdown in 3 consecutive games for the Eagles. He saw 10 targets again, 75 yards against a very good Ravens defense. I didn't know what we were going to see from Fulgham. I didn't tell you guys to pick him up last week because I thought it was maybe just a 1-week thing, but Fulgham is really, really showing that he is the number 1 guy in that offense. He's looked very, very good, and it looks like he's going to continue to be a big part of that Eagles offense even when Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey are ready to come back for the Eagles. He's still going to be a big part of this offense, I believe. And in these next 5 weeks, we see Travis Fulgham have very, very good matchups against the Giants, the Cowboys, the Giants, the Browns, and the Seahawks. Those are the next 5 weeks for Travis Fulgham and this Eagles offense that has had a semi-rough schedule up to this point. So I think right now we can look at Travis Fulgham as a wide receiver 3 or even a wide receiver 2 with some good upside in these coming weeks against bad secondaries that have been torn up by plenty of wide receivers over the course of the season. So definitely go pick yourself up some Travis Fulgham as he's really become the star of this Eagles offense that's been so beat up throughout the course of the year. Next, and our second wide receiver, we have T. Higgins of the Cincinnati Bengals. And we've seen him steadily rise in the past few weeks. We saw him in this past game against the Colts have his first 100-yard game of his career. Props to him for that. But I think that we should definitely be seeing T. Higgins owned in more than 51% of Yahoo leagues at the moment. He's had at least 6 targets in every single game since week 1, averaging 7.6 targets over the course of this year, which is very, very good. That's a wide receiver that you want on your fantasy roster. And Higgins, he's a very good talent. He's a unit, 6'4", 216 pounds. He's able to make plays all over the field, which we've seen in multiple weeks this season. Week 3, he caught 2 touchdowns. I told you to pick him up. And then this past week, he had 125 yards. So, I mean, obviously he's a rookie. He's going to have some ups and downs, but he's consistently getting targets, and you love to see that for fantasy wide receivers. He will definitely be a solid addition to your fantasy team. I think his role is only going to increase in the Cincinnati offense as he builds his relationship with rookie quarterback Joe Burrow. So I like T. Higgins a lot. Go pick him up off the waivers. Next, we've got for the second week in a row, Chase Claypool of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he's owned in only 49% of Yahoo leagues, which is crazy. He is great. You want him on your fantasy team. He had that monster week 5, and he put up another great performance in week 6. He got all 4 of his targets for 74 yards. He also had a rushing touchdown. Very, very impressive from Chase Claypool. I do expect his workload to take a little bit of a hit when Deontay Johnson is back, but it's clear that Chase Claypool has carved out a role in that offense. He is a big play guy, very efficient on the targets he gets. So I like Chase Claypool a lot. Definitely pick him up if he's still available in your leagues. All right, my fourth and final wide receiver to pick up is a guy on the Jacksonville Jaguars, Keelan Cole. He's continuing to be one of the Jaguars' top receivers. He saw 9 targets against the Lions, which was second on the team, only behind DJ Chark, who saw 14. But Keelan Cole, he caught 6 of those passes. He had 143 yards. He's definitely a very high floor player. That will be a guy that you can play in your wide receiver 3 flex spot, or he can be a guy you can consider for that spot every single week. He's never seen fewer than 5 targets in a game this season. He's definitely very consistent. That's a guy you want to play in fantasy. And this week they're facing the Chargers, then they're playing the Texans and the Packers in consecutive weeks, which they're worse than those teams. It's going to be a game script that favors throwing the ball a lot. DJ Chark has been a relative disappointment this year, but Keelan Cole has been very, very impressive to me in that Jaguars offense. So I like him a lot. Go pick him up if he's still available in your league. Next is our tight end pickup of the week, and that is Trey Burton. He's definitely a guy to keep your eye on if you need to fill in that spot at tight end. He's had 5 targets in each of the 3 games he's played since being activated off of injured reserve. And we saw Mo Alley-Cox miss week 6. Jack Doyle has been pretty quiet for most of the season for the Colts. But Burton is definitely the best athletic playmaker at the tight end position for the Colts this season. And we saw him score a rushing touchdown last week, which was pretty impressive. He's definitely got to consider if you need to pick up a tight end. All right, now let's go to my final thing, my QB stream of the week. And it is Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers. A lot of you guys may not have picked him up last week as a stream because he was on bye week. But I think this is the final time I'll be able to talk about Herbert in these waiver wire videos because he's playing the Jaguars this week off of a bye. It's the perfect time for Herbert to have a breakout week, a lot of fantasy points, and I think we're going to see his stock go up quite a bit in fantasy, and a lot of people are going to be looking to pick him up. So pick him up ahead of the curb. He's athletic enough to get some fantasy points with his legs on the ground as well. He's a guy that has really impressed me this season and a guy that you want to pick up on your fantasy team. This Chargers offense is looking very, very good. So yeah, I like picking up Justin Herbert this week in a very good matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if Herbert is not available, there's some other guys that you might want to pick up, and they're right here. Carson Wentz, who's had some very under-the-radar, very good games in the past couple weeks, and Andy Dalton, who we know is replacing Dak Prescott, who I think is going to do a pretty good job by that offense. We'll see. But those are my other guys that you can pick up if Justin Herbert is not available in your league. But yeah. All right. Those are my week 7 waiver wire pickups for fantasy football. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. As always, until next time, peace.